Hi everybody, I'm Rosie and welcome to another episode of I watch a movie and I expect the movie to be good and then the movie disappoints me. The movie we're watching today is called Holidate. It is out on Netflix right now. I believe it is a Netflix original. And this playlist you're watching right now is where I watch movies suggested by you. I give you the Sparks Notes version for your amusement. I make a little jokes here and there. If you like the video, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up, share your thoughts with me in the comments. It's very, very important that you leave me a comment, even if it is something mean, like telling me that the second coming of Jesus Christ is gonna get me, which is something that happened multiple times in my Blade video, so maybe I gave somebody the wrong vibes in that one. Holiday 2020 is what I would call an adult Hallmark movie. If you guys are fans of the Hallmark channel or you happen to watch Hallmark channel reviews on YouTube, which I personally do because I think that the premise of those movies are like hilarious, like right out of a Wattpad fanfic. And I'm just very easily amused by boy meets girl, boy gets girl. Holiday falls under that Hallmark movie brand, but at the same time, there are a lot more explicit scenarios, a lot more explicit language, and a lot of times throughout the movie, you're made to feel like it's satire against like these kinds of romance movies, but it falls a little bit short, and I'm gonna explain why. Our main female love interest, Sloane, and this man, or main guy, whose name escapes me right now, they're navigating the holidays as single people. Sloane's family is made up of a lot of couples, a lot of children, and a single person like herself stands out among them. She's made to sit at the kids' table. They don't bring out the extra leaf for this table that they have, where it's one of those tables that can stretch to fit multiple people. So they kind of like they other her. They create an environment where she feels very uncomfortable being a single person. Sloane's personality I would describe as just she is built almost entirely out of rolling her eyes, scoffing, and being extremely combative for very little reason, which is not at all like some of these other female protagonists in Hallmark movies. They're kind of always the perfect girl boss, and you can tell Sloane is a little bit of a mess, and I do appreciate that. Our dude, Jackson, whose name I had to look up on my notes because I actually forgot it, spending time with a girl that he is dating, but he hasn't made things official with. This girl and like her creepy Stepford Wives looking parents are like caricatures justifying his every sexist nightmare. I just want to point out right here that Jackson's sexism will never be addressed in the movie. He will never grow out of it, which is not to say you can't argue or like get mad at girls or anything. It's just like if you bring up their gender, like, oh, you're crazy because you're a girl, yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Because chicks go mental on the holiday.
Right off the bat, it's very clear to me that the two of them are made for each other because they cause this scene at this department store where they're trying to return the gifts that they got for Christmas that they didn't like. They're like annoying the workers who are there, who literally don't have a choice about being there because it's their job. Initially, I believed that Sloane was stepping in because he was oversharing to the employee, like making things very awkward for her and everybody in the line. But then when it's her turn, she does the exact same thing. She overshares to the employee and just they're made for each other. They're equally annoying in public.
You can go nail it somewhere else. I need to go check on these.
Sloane, she likes fast food. He likes to eat healthy, and they both hate Christmas. Yes. Sloane's aunt is the person that introduces us to the concept of holidating. This guy, Jackson, who claims that women go crazy during the holidays, then tells Sloane's that human beings are hardwired to need one another during the holidays, and that she's actually not happy being single, and that's the reason she should be his holiday.
I said pity, not pathetic.
Tomato.
Jackson is a professional golfer. It comes up here and again. Sloane, I believe she does something in accounting or marketing or something like that. They're really not specific with it. I appreciate how much just old-fashioned sexism this movie brings to the table, and I'm being sarcastic when I say that.
She's much prettier with makeup.
But recently, I watched the movie After, and I watched the movie Kissing Booth 1 and 2, and I'm starting to believe that romance movies even in this day and age, are always sexist, and I just haven't been watching nearly enough of them, and that terrifies me. Please let me know in the comments if romance movies that you watch are this sexist, or if I just happen to pick very, very bad ones. So Sloane and Jackson, they like spending time with each other because they don't have to pretend to be somebody they are not to impress them. I definitely relate to the feeling of censoring yourself when you're first entering a relationship, but if you're always performing for somebody you love and you're not being your true self, then there's something wrong in that relationship. Personally, I believe if you were friends with someone before you started dating them, this becomes a non-issue. When you have chemistry before your romance, when you know things about each other, you can only build upon it. So I encourage you to be friends with the people that you're attracted to before you decide to go deeper. If you can't be friends with somebody you're gonna be romantically entangled with, then it's not gonna work out. That person has to be your best friend. The movie, this is one of the aspects that it becomes satire to me, or it attempts to be satire to me. It tries to rip on other romance movies like Dirty Dancing for lacking realism.
There's always some fake reason the stars can't be together when you know they're gonna be together from the poster.
It's cute. It feels like just a twinge, like they're throwing stones in a glass house, given how frequently this romantic comedy is just overtly cartoonish to the point of... But at this New Year's party they're attending, Sloane goes to the bathroom where she exchanges dresses with a crying girl. Her boyfriend is going to propose to her, and she wants to look good for the occasion. The way that she trades dresses with this girl, it indicates to me that Sloane doesn't hate love or people, even though she can come off a little bit bitter. We're 20 minutes into the movie, and our two main characters are getting along great, and it has me very interested on what the conflict is going to be. And one of the gripes I have with this movie is how much chemistry the main leads have. We have this incredible back and forth where you feel like they've been friends for a long time, or they've known each other for a long time. And the script and the plot of the movie, it takes that somewhere, but it falls flat of what I want from these two actors. They're doing an amazing job, and I wish the directing was right there with them. At this New Year's party, because they enjoyed each other so much, he tries to lock her down as a date for Valentine's Day, which isn't really a holiday that you spend with family or friends or at a party, I don't believe. So I'm not sure why he asked her to go on a Valentine's Day holiday. I really don't understand. But Sloane feels that 2 months is a very long time, and by the time Valentine's Day rolls around, that she's gonna have somebody else on her plate. So she says no. Her future sister-in-law and her sister and everybody else in this movie are so obsessed with relationships and just valuing women based on their appearance and whether or not they have a man like locked down. It's ridiculous. Nobody acts this way.
What about the wedding? You can't be alone at the wedding.
The wedding's in 8 months.
And you're already letting yourself go.
You know, everyone needs to mind their own business.
Because a lot of people that I know are single, and I would say are like a very, very happy and have single friends and single people that they hang out with. It's very hard to date right now. We learned very early on that Sloane is getting over a breakup, and she runs into her ex, Luke. Luke is a good head taller than she is, and the camera will not let you forget it. She looks like a little Oompa Loompa by how they keep angling the camera down on her. Jackson apparently lives at the mall, and he happens to be walking by, and he sees this awkward situation from outside the store. I have no clue how he can parse what is happening or how he can even hear standing where he is. But I guess from reading Sloane's body language, he decides to pose as her boy toy of the time to save her face. Jackson, our incredibly masculine, secure male protagonist, thinks that it's weird when girls say, which leads me to believe Jackson is easily emasculated. Don't be like Jackson. And since Sloane kind of owes him one because he interfered between her and her ex-boyfriend, she decides to agree to go on a St. Patrick's Day date with him. At this St. Patrick's Day party, they bump into Sloane's family. Her sister, I believe, and her brother and sister-in-law are both there. She finds out that Jackson is her brother's golf coach, and there's just a connection throughout them, which I think they put in so it wouldn't be strange if the family started to invite Jackson to all these other events in their life. After St. Patrick's Day comes Easter, and we're introduced to Farouk. Oh my gosh. Can he be the main love interest? Please? Excuse me, Mr. Movie. Can this man be the main love interest? Sloane has a conversation with her mother where she talks about Sloane dying of a horrible disease alone just because she doesn't have a boyfriend. And I'm like, if Sloane had this horrible disease, wouldn't her family be there for her? Hola, ma! My family's here for me. Like, oh my god, this movie is so cryptic. Romantic relationships are not the only way to ensure you live a long, happy life. And I understand the movie is trying to argue as much by presenting her mother as just a very aggressive figure, but they end up together at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert, and that's as good as nothing because you're proving your mother's point. After Cinco de Mayo, they wake up. Why am I saying Cinco de Mayo like I don't speak Spanish? I do. It's my native language. They wake up after a drunk holiday, unsure whether or not they had sex with each other. Not a sentence that I enjoyed saying, not a scene that I enjoyed watching. So Sloane's mother at one point says she doesn't need another friend. She needs a husband. Given that Jackson seems to be the only human being that she ever sees and speaks to that she isn't blood related or marriage related to, yeah, girl needs more friends. The 4th of July comes. The men are messing around with fireworks. The women are sunbathing. Sloane's sister-in-law is a character that I do not enjoy, and that I don't enjoy the actions that other people in the movie take towards her. For example, she is pressured to take drugs. She is pressured to say things that she would normally not be comfortable with. She is pressured to talk about sex with the family of her husband, which I cannot imagine a more uncomfortable situation than that. Sloane just doesn't really seem to respect her. While all of this is happening, Jackson blows off his finger. They get to the hospital and they do drugs in a sterile environment where people come in with respiratory issues. Great job, guys. You're made for each other. Farouk is the doctor. Happy to see him again. And he gets Jackson's finger right back on. Sloane's brother's wedding comes and they're both invited. And Jackson wants to bring his own date because a wedding is not a holiday and he doesn't want to give Sloane any ideas, despite being the one who only minutes ago we saw really wanted to reach out to her romantically. Farouk, unfortunately, as much as I like him, he is a prop in this movie. He's Sloane's date to the wedding, and he only exists when convenient to her relationship with Jackson. He is handed off to Sloane's aunt, who I like as a character, but as a love interest for Farouk, it feels like a little bit of a cop-out, like a joke. Sloane finds out his ex Luke and his girlfriend Felicity are pregnant. Sloane leaves the party early, and we find out that Sloane accidentally took multiple laxatives at a Halloween party, and the sequence doubles as toilet humor and sexual humor, but it's followed by a cute moment where he helps bathe her in a moment where she's clearly very physically vulnerable and emotionally vulnerable. I think being comfortable in potentially gross situations with someone you're dating or that you're in love is just a must. If you can't deal with someone farting or needing to poop or throw up, unless you have a specific phobia, like human bodies have fluids. Human bodies have fluids. That's my science fact for the day. You just have to be prepared to deal with the fact that somebody you love is not a prop, it's not a toy. They do gross human things like poop. I don't hate them together. I think they would be insufferable as part of my friend group. Like if I had to hang out with them, I'm sure it would be the most excruciating experience in the world. But I don't hate them. In the following scene, these two men who have had no sense of commitment or romance before this point, and when their feelings are on the line, suddenly they care about kissing and cuddling and the meaning behind your actions, you know, like, because only their feelings aren't irrational. And I totally get the humor in that, but if you don't address this fallacy they have as men, then I don't feel comfortable handing my female protagonist to them just like that. While shopping for their next holiday, Thanksgiving dinner, our main characters arrive at a full circle. They make a scene in a public space where employees are contractually obligated to remain. I can forgive a lot of things in a movie. I can forgive a lot of flaws in a character. I cannot forgive messing around in a public space, annoying the people working there. I just can't. I think that people that work retail and service people, that they are paid way too little to deal with this.
You're not even that attracted to me, right?
Why can't you let that go?
Maybe I just don't get it, because my personal idea of romance isn't a man yelling at me in the middle of a supermarket saying extremely hurtful and personal things to each other. Like, name dropping Ryan Gosling does not change the fact that this is an emotional scene. You're trying to make it not come across so heavy, but I'm hearing the words, I'm hearing the dialogue. I know the things that they're saying are awful. Her aunt's current Holidate has a heart attack, and Sloane goes to the hospital with them, where her aunt cements the narrative her mother had been building, that her sister is going to die alone because she won't commit to a man, Sloane's aunt, and that she's secretly unhappy with her life. So this bubbly woman that we have seen juggling men quite expertly is suddenly having a crisis of mortality, which is not unbelievable, but it is not satisfying to me given the message that I thought this movie was trying to convey. Sloane's aunt had broken off her relationship with Farouk because she felt that all things come to an end and she didn't want to get hurt before it happened. At the hospital, she is reunited with Farouk and decides that he's the one for her and they should rekindle the relationship and that she's done running away from love. And this man would be fired for this. Like, I've seen Grey's Anatomy. Can you tell I'm getting really annoyed at this movie? I had a lot of really wonderful expectations for a kind of like debunked film of the traditional Hallmark love story, but everything this movie builds up about not needing a man to be happy, not needing to be in a relationship to enjoy your holidays, it all crumbles very quickly. So I'm starting to believe that we are supposed to take it at face value. Yes, you are garbage because you're not in a relationship. Yes, you are a failure if you don't have a husband, because that's what the movie is showing me. Christmas comes around, and during Christmas shopping, Sloane and Jackson meet at the mall for the first time since they had their breakup, I suppose, during Thanksgiving. At first, she does not give chase to him, but after one of her sister's kids tells her it's a sign, she decides to go after him. She's up the escalator, he is down the escalator, and she is pushing people on the down escalator to reach a man whose phone number I'm sure she has, who she could just find at any other point in this mall because he clearly lives there. She's cutting through this crowd. She interrupts a choir, like a presentation. She gets on Santa's chair to yell his name out louder and is given a microphone to say her piece on a stage. This woman just bulldozed through an entire crowd and she is being rewarded for it. Tell me how not Hallmark that is. Like, that is perfectly Hallmark. If this truly was a satire, if this really truly was a romantic comedy playing on tropes from Hallmark movies, this scene would not happen the way it does. The only right thing for her to say into that microphone realistically is, I'm sorry, thank you for helping me, but this is a deeply private conversation that I need to have with that man, and I would not like the pressure of a public forum to create resentment between us in the future, Jackson. This might make me sound like a hater, but there is no universe where a public profession of love and attraction is in any way correct. Like, unless you have agreed beforehand that you are okay with public proposals like this, and this is not an engagement proposal, I just mean like publicly airing your dirty laundry, you know what I mean? Unless you both agreed to publicize it, something about it is just off. When you publicize something like this, you're kind of making it so the other person is obligated to say yes and take you back. But you know, she doesn't say any of that. She just, it works out perfectly for her. Look, like, I know it's a joke. I know that her pushing through all these people is supposed to be funnier. If this movie wanted to commit to the, we're not like other romantic comedies bit, if it wanted to satirize these kinds of movies, it is not unprecedented to have her run through this crowd pushing all these people and then having her take the mic and having everybody boo at her as she's trying to do this romantic declaration. I think that's funnier. I think it though it's been done before, it's still like nice and fresh. She's still shoving people. Like, why isn't this crowd just tossing rotten tomatoes at them? Oh wait, I guess they did. I kept waiting for this movie to give me a twist ending. I did. But I was extremely disappointed. This movie was made not for single people to feel better about the holidays, but for them to know that they are 100% human garbage for not being in a relationship. I feel like I need to end this saying a relationship is two already fulfilled adults coming together to just fill a common want for companionship. If you're single, if you're taking a break from dating, if you're not gonna be with anyone now or ever, and that's the life that you want, good for you. No other person needs to complete you when you're already whole, when you have a purpose. Seems such a waste to have a star-studded cast. It cannot save it from the gutter that its humor is just straight up scraped out of. I personally believe that jokes about terminal illnesses, jokes about dying alone, sexual jokes that include and exploit children, all of these jokes are not jokes that I think are appropriate for a movie like this that's supposed to be feel good, where I'm supposed to like these characters. Does the movie acknowledge that Jackson is sexist? No, it doesn't. Does the movie acknowledge Sloane's worth is not defined by her attractiveness to him? No. Does he ever compliment her intelligence? No. The bottom line is, women are crazy, men are also crazy, and eventually they just fit together, which I don't think it's a healthy take on life. If it sounded like I got through that pretty quickly and just pretty vaguely, it's because the movie moves from scene to scene along the span of a year very quickly. It jumps from Christmas to Valentine's Day to St. Patrick's Day to Easter, just very, very rapid fire, scene to scene. I never felt bored. I'll give the movie that. There were definitely some jokes that were funny. It's just that it's not really my kind of humor. You know what I mean? I really wish they had fully embraced the ending of this movie. And one of the aspects that most upset me about this is that her brother-in-law, the man married to her sister, the one with all the kids, finds out that his wife cheated on him, and I believe they have a divorce. And then her Sloane's sister-in-law, the one who's married to Sloane's brother, decides to go to marriage counseling after they realize that they have nothing in common and that their relationship is just falling apart. There's this ending credit scene where everybody gets back together, including the man who got cheated on with the wife that cheated on him, and the two people that clearly did not have a lot in common, her sister in-law and Sloane's brother, they clearly were not slotting together. They didn't have a lot in common. Like, how do you fix that? But yeah, in the end credits, everything's fixed. Everybody is with somebody, including like all the side characters, and it's just ridiculous to me. What is the message of this movie? Incomprehensible. I originally was gonna scrap this video altogether, and then I saw this movie hit #1 on the Netflix US chart. Are you kidding me? How? I hope you all have very happy holidays. I hope you'll leave this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I hope you'll talk to me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I didn't have any nicer things to say about the movie. Once again, thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. See you next time. This is Rosie, signing off.